somebody asked me what I said, what are you? I said, I'm whatever African was the day before the first Christian or Muslim stepped their foot in. That's what I am. Because there was a whole Muslim slave trade down the other coast of Africa we don't talk about. We don't talk about how them folks got light skin and fat skin in North Sudan versus South Sudan. We don't talk about how Arab speakers came across. We proud to be Moors, but still, the religion was pushed on you and forced on you. Honorable John Henry Clark said, the African has no friends. And at some point, we got to get past who's really a Christian or he's a Hebrew and who are the true Muslims and who are the Moors. And we just have to say, like Elijah Muhammad taught us, we are Earth's original people. That's the one thing I do know. Whatever put us here, put a dark black woman here first. And her DNA made everything in this room. The most powerful DNA in this room is right there. That's what God looks like.
Chastity, stand up real quick so people can.
That's what God is. Dr. John Henry
with
Clark
the right
said,
T-shirt on. With the right T-shirt on.
All religions are male murder cults.
That's my uncle.
Right? Male murder cults. Because no matter what we choose to think of religions and what's right and what's wrong, if you're not honoring that as first, what do our religions share in common? They warn you about the perils and evils of women. Why? We ever asked ourselves why? Why can't something that life comes through be seen as holy? We don't do it. I'm just asking why. I'm just asking why. Because I don't have the answers. But when you ask yourself why, you'll stay up at night.
I just want to say, not Christianity. Christianity is Christian. So for all the world, don't make that confusion. A lot of people talk about Christianity. I'm not talking about Christianity. I'm talking about Christian. Those that understand. I'm not going to argue about that. You can keep going.
I love you in Jesus' name.
So let me ask you a question, Mike.
We should probably take it. Okay, go.
We take a break out of his bathroom.
Yeah, okay. Let's hold the question. We'll come right back to that. We'll spin back
it
there.
might be
10-minute break, y'all. So we left off. We left off.
Talking about
with a debate.
It
was a debate.
Yo, if Huey from the Boondocks grew up, I think he'd be Killer Mike.
Hey, man.
Especially if he started rapping.
Hey, well, I love that show, man. I really hope it comes back.
Aaron Magruder. Yeah, man. Please pull up.
Yeah, shouts out to Aaron. He's a good brother. He needs his father. Aaron don't make public appearances often. You catch him in public, you at the coffee shop or something. But I talked to him, man. Charlie introduced me to him. He's a great brother.
You talk to a lot of people who don't make public appearances.
Yeah.
Aaron Magruder, fucking Andre 3000, Globetrotting with a flute, just running around here.
In Japan.
And you got him for your pride. Well, madam,
Yeah,
hold on.
so
Before
what I was curious about, I know you have an extensive education in religion and theology.
Yes.
And as you stated before, you're a Muslim,
I practice Islam, Yeah, study with Hebrews.
Right, so extensive. Now, I listened to the album, I was working out to it this morning, and I couldn't help but notice that there was Yoruba-based poetry and actually prayers to the ancestors.
Yeah.
Right. I'm a part of that, and that's what I believe in heavily. So I wanted to ask you, what was the influence in putting that on that specific track?
My ancestors and in particular my mother and grandmother, you know what I mean? They cover me, they walk with me every day.
Exactly.
I got ancestors I never met that prayed, for me to be so. For me, again, it's in searching for who I am and who we are and culturally who we've been, if this album brought me back to the roots of Christianity, of church, of self-reliance, of southernness, of the Pentecostal church that I grew up in the music, from a logical standpoint, what I've learned in my time in Islam and even in an organization that would be considered offshoots like the Nation, when you get past all that, who we were when we brought here, who were we praying to, and I just wanted to connect with that. And the record, High and Holy, isn't necessarily talking about marijuana as much as how we should be vibrating and how we should be moving. And I just thought it only appropriate that a prayer be on there in our language and of our religion, or one that we have discovered and not even discovered, the one that we had created and cultivated. So I had a sister, a priestess, come in and say a prayer. And even if you don't understand what it's saying, you feel what it's meaning.
You feel it. And then there's a wording in it that, just stands out. So when you say Ogun, when you say Chango, you say Yamayar, Oshun, that's almost universal, even to the ear that doesn't really understand it. But my thing is what brought it to your attention? Was it when you were in school?
Well, I studied black people. I had a teacher named Miss Baraki. Dr. Asa Hilliard was teaching at Clark at the time, and he had did a curriculum for Atlanta Public Schools for history teachers to come and learn, to basically teach black children about who they were past starting at slavery. Who was the ruler of the Malian Empire? Who were the Nubians? Who was in ancient Kemet? Things
Empire.
of that nature, all that. And she was one of the first people that introduced me to thinking outside of the religions that we were given, the big three, you know, of course. And, you know, she just, if you wake up a child's curiosity, they're going to try to find it. You know what I mean? So, you know, whether it was Santeria, whether it was what they call voodoo, whether it was called Ifa, I started, once you become aware of something, you start seeing it places, you start asking questions. And people, once they realize you're genuinely curious, they more than willing to share with you and help you understand better. Not even try to recruit you, just help you understand. So I've been fortunate that I know people in that community. I know people in a lot of black religious community, but that community in particular is a very powerful one in terms of their reverence of ancestors, their support of one another and of their communities. And you know, if you look at my motherless video, all those sisters and priestesses that are in there that are doing the prayer for me, Sister Taj, who put the stones in my hand in the video, is that person that's praying. And she's my sister. I love her to death.
I just wanted to say to you before you ask your next question, like that, I personally appreciate that is a part of your art.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? At this point, you know, you had a long career. Your career's still going. And the only other person I seen highlighted was Beyonce. Right? She made a whole album, Lemonade, about Oshun. You know what I mean? So to see another black artist, you know, put that in their music, it means a lot to me personally. You know, I appreciate that.
I appreciate the community.
It just feels more, it makes the album more autobiographical to me. Like a lot of people will, no one would blame you if you decided to keep your religion out of your album. Or you decided to keep your relationship out of your album. Plenty of things that people like to keep private. Man, when you do Motherless Child though.
Motherless,
Bro, like my father, I lost my father in the same, and they hear me quote my pop so much they make fun of me for it. But that record hit different off the strength of that. You know what I mean? To get an understanding of our parents, a lot of us don't have that. Don't know who they were as children. I still go talk to my uncles and his cousins, and I hear about the stories of my pop when he was my age and younger. But you have an understanding of your moms. You've had conversations with your moms, and then you put them in the song.
I did. I mean, you got to.
No, you don't have to. That's the whole thing. You really don't have to.
I have to. Yeah, I feel compelled to. I just want to be honest and an artist for the rest of my days. That's all. You know, when me and cousins in there working, they done heard every version of Killer Mike they can heard. Pretty much, man, you know, the most amazing thing with me is what I just realized just how many people never gave me a shot. They never gave me a listen. You know, and I get it. You know, maybe I didn't have the greatest marketing toward it. Maybe like Jesus, when you see me, you didn't see nothing of me, you want it. But when you finally sat down and let it pierce your heart, it hit you, because it's your life. You don't. I never took it personally. You wasn't avoiding me. You was avoiding you. You thought you was a dope boy in the trap. You wasn't no dope boy, because I was in the trap. I never saw you there. You know what I'm saying? We were trying to get the fuck out the trap. I didn't want to be there. So I understood why certain other things caught your fancy and caught your eye. I understood why you thought I was just talking theory when I was talking about black economics. But when I got that first $60,000, you know, check off rap music, I went and bought my first investment property. I knew, like I say, man, if I want to be free, I got to be free. I got to figure something else out. I can't keep begging a record company to believe in these radical black ideas. You know, eventually you got to become the idea.
It's hot for trapper turn smack rapper. Only smack rapper that you know is smack rappers. Got bars I can hang with the backpackers. Trap star, I don't hang with the backpackers. I'm in the hood with the work you heard. Making fiends leave earth you heard. Got your baby mama thirst you heard. Feel the flow, nigga, throw it in reverse. This the wave you need to surf you heard.